ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नारायणं पद्मभुवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपादं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथास्य शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्य पद्मापादं च शिष्यं पादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यं तं तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यान् अस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Hari Om, salutations to all. We have been seeing the Shanti mantra, and here we have seen the first two lines. Bhadram karnebhi shrunuyama devaha. May we see and may we hear what is auspicious. Bhadram pashyem akshabhiryajatraha. O worshipful ones, O devatas, may we see and hear what is auspicious. For us to see and hear what is auspicious, to see what is auspicious, we have to ensure that we keep our surroundings clean. The environment in the home, wherever we are, wherever we have that capability to control it, then make it divine, make it auspicious. And for us to hear what is auspicious, we have to first speak, because we are the first listeners of our speech before anybody else listens. And so no gossiping, no backbiting, all that. A student definitely must do that. Genuine, valid criticism is always welcome, but gossiping, backbiting, all that is not required. So may we hear what is auspicious, which means I should speak auspicious. May I see what is auspicious, meaning I keep things around me clean and nice. Sthirairangai tushtuvagam sastanubhihi. With hale and healthy limbs, with a sound, with a strong body, may we praise you, and meaning keep the body fit and fine, don't ignore it. And vyashema devahitam yad ayuhu, whatever be the ayu as per my own karma. Devahitam here indicates that whatever be my ayu, may I live my life like this, with auspiciousness, keeping with worship of the divine, keeping the body hale and hearty. So these two lines we have seen, and also it shows the detachment, that whatever time has been given to us, may we use that to seek the divine. One is not having attachments that this body must prolong, nor one is having the thought process that what is this life full of so much of struggle, I don't want to live, I want to end it. One must live. Human life is very, 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 very precious, and it is not to be squandered away. The opportunity is very rare. Shastra says after 84 lakh yonis one gets the first human birth. And mind may go through certain ups and downs, no doubt. Life is not so easy. There are challenges, there are difficulties which do come. And sometimes negative thoughts also overpower us. These are the Shanti mantras which help to uplift the mind, bring it back to its positive state. In the Valmiki Ramayana it comes, even in Sundarkand, that even a mighty person like Hanumanji goes through tendencies of negative thinking. He spirals, literally he spirals, and thinks that if I can't find Sita ji, then Bhagwan Ram will not live, then Lakshman will die, then Bharat Shatrughna will die, then Ayodhya Vasis will die, the three mothers will die, Sugriv will die, Vanar Sena will die. So much destruction will happen just because I fail. It is better that I only commit suicide. Is it written there? And he starts thinking also, how should I do? Or should I just not return? I'll live like a sadhu somewhere here. Nobody will know. I'll just sit below some tree in some different form and just live on fruits. Then he says, no point in living like that with such, failure. I won't be able to live, so better to die. He is thinking that, just to show to us that human being can go through all this. And he is a Vanara, he has divine powers, even then he is going through. So he thinks, I will go to the mountain, I will jump. He says, I'll drown in the ocean. Should I light a fire and immolate myself? The mind is literally spiraling. Then one line, he says, Vinasho bahavo doshaha jivan prapnoti bhadrakam. So there is a bhadram which has come here, auspiciousness. Vinasho bahavo doshaha. If I destroy myself, there are lots of flaws and limitations to that. Problem will not be solved by escaping it. One has to face it. Karma will not get exhausted. One thinks that by destroying oneself, karma will get exhausted. It will not. Till the account is not settled, one will keep meeting again and again. And that argument that what if that person is destined to die by suicide, that person doesn't know that. That person is making the choice. Only Bhagwan knows what is destined for whom. When we have to make a choice, we have to make with the right intent. And so, he thinks, Vinasho bhavo doshaha. Then when you drop the body, there is no, if a human body is dropped in that way, squandered away, Bhagwan says, okay, you don't want it, you don't value it. Now, that person doesn't get a human body so fast. Shastra gives that the person lives in Preta Yoni for a long time. So all that is given to not scare anybody, but to make us value and understand that human life is very, very precious and one has to struggle and fight it out, whatever may be the challenge. So he says, Vinasho bhavo doshaha. That one line, Vinasho bhavo doshaha, has so much implication. Then the solution is what? Jivan prapnoti bhadrakam. If I am alive, then I can attain my goal, I can attain auspiciousness, I can bring auspiciousness to people, and I can fulfill the mission. So let me continue the search. That bhadram is the choice. One should make the choice. How auspicious are my choices? We should train our buddhi to think that way. Is this auspicious? Will this help me to evolve? Will this help me to discover the supreme goal of life? Then that is bhadram. And life has to be spent in bhadram, not in abhadram. The mind may love abhadram because somehow it has been conditioned that way. Whatever is not helping me to evolve is abhadram. Evolve meaning overcome likes and dislikes, attain self-mastery. That is bhadram. So now having said that, four other lines which are there, they are to invoke specific devatas. The first two lines are invoking generally all the devatas. And remember, this is in the Veda as well as this is the Shanti mantra being chanted before Upanishad. Because the Supreme alone manifests as these different deities. In that specific deities, one is invoking. Who are they? Swastina Indro Vriddha Shravaha. We are invoking Indra. Indra is the king of devatas. Phenomenally, specifically in charge of rains. So, Indra, we know the story of in Bhagavatam also, where he was not worshipped and Govardhan was worshipped, and he became angry and he rained non-stop for 7 days. So he is deity in charge of rains. Swastina Indro. One is rains are necessary, water is life, all the grains and crops and many things depend on water. So one is, may there be basic material prosperity so that we don't have to struggle for the fundamentals, because when the mind has to struggle for the fundamentals, then thinking of the subtler becomes challenging. So Swastina Indro. Indra also is, as we saw, presiding deity of our hands. So may we put in that effort. When we think of effort, now we think only external, hard work, sweat it out. But Jnana sadhana is the subtlest sadhana, to listen with full attention. Listening like how Tapon Maharaj would expect us to listen. Tapon Maharaj had put a condition to Gurudev. He said, I will teach only once and I will not repeat. And if I ask you a question and you cannot answer, you have to return. Imagine that condition being put to us. We will be taught only once. We want to understand only with all the available technology, and in fact that is one of the reasons why our listening has reduced, because technology has ensured that the incentive or the premium which is there to listen is not there now. So our attention and our concentration is not so much, because one may say recordings are available. Now you don't even need to make notes. Why? You put the recording link in chat GPT, tell it to transcribe it, it will give you the transcription also. So people are not even making notes, and while listening the mind is everywhere, thinking I'll catch up later, doing simultaneously 2-3 things. Listening is also going on simultaneously, cooking is also going on, some replying on WhatsApp is also going on. So it's all going on. Listening with full attention itself is a big sadhana. And that's the main sadhana in Vedanta. Shravanam matrena jnanam bhavati. Just by listening one can attain the realization of the truth. So one has to listen with full attention. That is Purushartha. Transformation will happen then itself. Because what we need is identity shift mainly. I am not the BMI, I am infinite consciousness. And if it is not that, if my mind is not ready, then reflection using scriptural logic, then contemplation to detach from who I am not. So this is an effort, and in this effort we want the blessing of our own mind. So one meaning of Indra is mind. Because devatas are senses. Div means to illumine. The senses illumine the sense objects for us. And who is the coordinator of all these senses? Eyes can only see, ears can only hear, nose can only smell, tongue can only taste, skin can only touch. They can't do each other's job. They can't fill in for the other. Proxy attendance they can't do. If one is absent, khatam. So, they are coordinated by what? One mind. So, etymologically, the word Indra literally means idam drashta Indraha. Very interesting, na? Idam drashta Indra. Idam drashta Indra can mean mind also, can mean consciousness also. In this context, we will stick to mind. Idam drashta meaning the seer of this. The mind, Gurudev used to say, mind is a receiving clerk in the post office. He will receive all the mails from everywhere and then sort it out, then dispatch. Same way, the reception of all the stimuli coordinated together and the wholesome experience we have is because of the mind. And that mind must be auspicious to us. That when one is sitting and listening. So, three meanings of Indra. One, as a deity of rain. May he bless us with basic prosperity. Two, presiding deity of the hands, symbolizing may I put in my self-effort. And three, Vedantic meaning or etymological meaning of Indra is the mind. Idam drashta. Aham is I, idam is this. So in this context, in not taking aham as the pure consciousness, here I is the relative I, small I, Mr. So and so, the mind, the individuality. That may be auspicious to us. Swastina Indro, he is called as Vriddha Shravaha, he is most ancient. Indra is supposed to be also a meritorious jiva who has come to that position by doing 100 Ashwamedha Yajnas. That's why one name of Indra is Shatakratuhu. Kratu means literally a yajna, but here the word Kratu means Ashwamedha Yajna. Ashwamedha Yajna. That Ashwamedha Yajna, 100 one who has done successfully, that jiva becomes Indra. As long as that punya lasts, that jiva will be Indra and continue to do the duties of Indra. Then another jiva will come. So, Swastina Indro Vriddha Shravaha is most ancient. Then Swastina Pusha Vishwavedaha. So, Pushan is the sun. See what a beautiful name now. Sun, as sun is a nourisher. Poshayati means to nourish. And do you know sunlight? Some people can live only on sunlight. Of course, sunlight nourishes the whole Srishti. We know the whole photosynthesis and so many things happen because of the sun. The water evaporation is happening because of sun. Rains are coming because of sun. All that. Sun, without sun, life is not possible. And so they have given one name for sun as nourisher. So it's not that people did not know science in those earlier days. They know, but they chose to go beyond science also and worship that intelligence which is behind this phenomenal universe. So, Pusha. In Ishavasya Upanishad also the same word comes. Pushanne karshayam surya prajapatya vyuha rashmin samuha yatte rupam kalyanatamam tatte pashyami. What? Yosa vasav purusha soham asmi. And that sun represents that infinite consciousness which is enlivening here, this heart. Each one's heart is enlivened by that same consciousness which is behind that sun. Very beautiful prayer that. Again, the next one says that Hiranmayena Patrina Satyasyapihitam Mukham Tatvam Pushannapavranu Satya Dharmaya Drishtaye. Such beautiful mantras. That I am Satya Dharma. I walk the path of truth and dharma. I want to know the truth through the path of dharma. So many meanings. You know, what a nice name. If somebody wants to give their child a name, give such names. Brilliant name, Satya Dharma. What a lovely name it is. The person who lives dharmic way to know the Satya. Person who lives dharma which is Satya. What a nice name. These mantras in Ishavasya, they are there. Take up Ishavasya Upanishad and read. 18 mantras only are there. In that, this will be there. After mantra number 12, this will be there. I think 14, 13, 14 or 15, 16, that mantras these are. So, Satya Dharma. And he says that, Satya Dharmaya Drishtaye. For me who is Satya Dharma, O Pusha, remove the golden disc. Hiranmayena Patrena Satyasya Apihitam Mukham. That which is covered, the face of the truth is as though covered, meaning Maya. The veil of Maya is there. I am walking the path sincerely. Please remove that veil of Maya. What level of confidence that is. I am deserving to know the truth. I have walked the path of Satya and Dharma. This is not arrogance. This is not ego. This is the nishtha one has in the path of Dharma and Satyam, saying, I have lived. So now unveil, move, let that veil of Maya go. See how that seeker's mind is. The seeker's mind, look at the mind of that seeker who has such confidence, and it's not that that seeker would not have fallen in life or that seeker would not have gone through ups and downs. Every seeker has a fall, no doubt. Mind is such, it will pull us down, it will make us weak, it will make us think negative thinking, all that. If Hanumanji can go through, then anybody can go through. But the seeker rises up, and as Gurudev would say, every fall is a rise in the total. It is not to justify a fall, but this is just to say that a seeker has to, if one has fallen, get up, brush away whatever the negativities are, again continue to walk and get that nishtha that now I am walking the path of dharma, no more any compromises or no more any negative thoughts. Take that resolve, continue walking. And here is the seeker who has lived like that, and this is a prayer. If you see in the Ishavasya, it is a prayer as though at the end of the life almost, saying that I have lived this life of dharma, I have not known the truth, you reveal, remove that veil of Maya. I have done enough sadhana, now you please reveal. Is a prayer. Tatvam Pushan Apavranu, O Surya, meaning, oh, hey Bhagwan, Ishvara, Surya is Ishvara there. Tatvam Pushan Apavranu, Satya Dharmaya Drishtaya, I have to see, means I want to behold the vision of the truth. Obviously, the truth is not an object to be seen, the seeker is wanting to know, and that's why he says that Yatte Rupam Kalyanatamam Tatte Pashyami, that most auspicious form of yours, that I want to see. And where is that? Not out there. So he says, Yo sa vasau purusha, so aham asmi. That consciousness which enlivens that sun is here in my heart. I want to see that. So remove the veil of my avidya. It's not just Maya outside. It is that same manifesting as avidya here. Remove. So for seeker, Surya is Pratyaksha Brahma, first and foremost. Is the symbol of supreme consciousness or Ishvara also. And one of the 5 main deities in Sanatan Dharma is Surya. Shiva, so Ganapati, Shiva, Devi, Vishnu and Surya. What we call as Panchayatana. In that the other 4 one has to do upasana to get their darshan. Surya also one has to do upasana to get darshan as a devata, but Surya is also visible as the sun, the physical ball of fire, what is there. So it is more easy to relate. In the West today, there are so many of them. The trend, sun worship, sun worship. Very good, continue. That we have discovered long back here. Surya Upasana. So, here the seeker is praying. Swastina Pusha Vishwaveda, and Surya is called Pushan, the nourisher, and he is also called Vishwaveda, he is all knower, omniscient. Surya has that adjective here, that he is knower of the Vishwa, meaning he is the consciousness enlivening everything, one meaning Vedantic way. Otherwise, even as a Devata. So, as a Devata, what is his, what does he preside? The eye. Chakshusha Suryaha. And through eyes, we see, gain the knowledge of so many things. How much level of independence is there because of the eyes? We take eyes for granted. So very interesting now how in this, though the ears and eyes are mentioned, but hands also get mentioned through Indra. Surya is connected to eyes, and Surya also is Buddhi Devata. In what sense? When we chant Gayatri Mantra, we say Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Please illumine our intellect. Otherwise, Tattvabodh, etc. will say Buddhehe Brahma. Brahma is the presiding deity of the intellect, which is also fine. So here it is Swastina Pusha Vishwavedaha. And Pusha represents intellect, Pusha represents the eyes. May we be able to gain the knowledge, have the right vision, right perception. And it also is a symbol of grace of Ishvara. So Indra symbolic of Purushartha and Pusha symbolic of grace of Bhagavan. Where both these are there, which is the last verse of the Gita, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, that is grace of Bhagavan. Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara, that is the dynamic Arjun, ready to put in the effort. Not that Arjun who had thrown away bow and arrow, not that Arjun, the Arjun at the end of the Gita, Dhanurdhara Partha. In the beginning, Visrajya Sashram Chapam Shoka Samvigna Manasa, he had thrown away bow and arrow. Not that dejected, depressed one who is not ready to put in effort. Then Bhagavan has to pull him up, and then he has come up to this state. Then he says, Karishe Vachanam Tava, I will do what you have said. Picks up his bow and arrow. That Arjun. So this line is symbolic of that. Self-effort and grace both come together. In that, grace factor is always present. Self-effort is to become open to that grace. Self-effort doesn't mean, self-effort does not deny grace. Many people think like that. I am self-made. What God? Which God? No God. I only did all by myself. And they think that that self-effort is to deny God and to deny any totality. No, self-effort is to go with grace. My self-effort is grace of Bhagavan. The capability in BMI is because of Bhagavan's Kripa only. Otherwise this will not function. When one understands that the karmas I do, those karma kshamata comes to me from Bhagavan. Bhagavan is karma adhyaksha. The laws that are created in the world, created by Bhagavan. Karma phala comes because of those laws. So Bhagavan is karma phala data. So Bhagavan only is karma adhyaksha also, karma phala data also. Without the grace, none of this will function. If let us say this computer is working very nicely, does it prove the existence of Bhagavan or does it disprove the existence? Does it prove the existence of the company that created it or does it disprove its existence? Now it's functioning very fine, wonderful. For what? It popped into existence. So our self-effort itself is a proof that grace is functioning. And somebody says, no, I don't have grace, I am very unfortunate, Bhagwan has abandoned me. Bhagwan can't abandon us. Grace of Bhagwan is there everywhere. Even in the most difficult time, it is Bhagwan's grace only that is helping us to exhaust karmas. Some negative karma is getting wiped out, finished. So a seeker has this correct attitude कि I will put in the effort, and that is also by grace of Bhagwan. So swastina pusha vishvavedaha. Swastina tarksho arishtanemihi. Tarksha has two meanings. Tarksha means Vayu Devata, and Tarksha means Garuda also. So as Vayu, one meaning here is Tvacho Vayuhu, the sense of touch. Eyes are covered, ears are covered, hands are covered, touch covered. By implication, all senses of action and knowledge. So, touch. One is that presiding deity Vayu. May that Vayu, one of the most healing aspects is touch, and one of the most distracting aspect also is touch. So may the senses be in control. When I am listening especially, or even while living in a dharmic way, one should not be simply, especially with the opposite gender, the attraction is there in the mind, and then one is distracted, mind gets distracted. So touch, one is this Swastina Pusha Vishvaveda, Swastina Starksho, Arishtanemihi. We'll come to Arishtanemi in some time. So one is this Vayu. Second, Vayu also here indicates Prana Shakti. This Prana is very, very important to conserve the vitality of the body, because we may want to contemplate, but if Prana Shakti is not enough, we won't be able to contemplate. Prana is required for both. Body also requires prana. That's the fuel for the senses to function, for the body to be able to even listen to the discourses, read, reflect, all that. Body requires and mind also requires. Both are connected. Mind is connected to the body by the prana in between. In between meaning it is a connecting factor. Prana pervades the body. And so one is the Tarksha is symbolic of prana. So may my prana be strong, which also means that one should live in brahmacharya. Gurudev used to give 3 values. Full Sanatan Hindu Dharma can be reduced to, values of Sanatan Dharma can be reduced to 3. If I live these 3 values, I am living all other values. They will automatically come. And as a memory aid, we call it as SAB. S-A-B. Sab means what? Satyam, Ahimsa, Brahmacharya. These 3 values. Satyam is to not intellectually compromise with what are my convictions. If I am convinced that happiness is not in the world outside, it is my nature, then to live by that. If I am convinced that love is the way, forgiveness is the way, compassion is the way, self-control is the way, then I have to live that way. No compromise. Then that is intellectually being honest to myself. I am living as per my knowledge and conviction. Otherwise, many people, they have knowledge but conviction is something else. That conviction doesn't change. One has knowledge that cigarette is bad, but one is still smoking. Why? Because the conviction has not changed. Some pleasure one is still deriving out of it. One who lives uncompromisingly, Satyam. Ahimsa is mental state of non-violence. Physical minimum violence. One cannot avoid violence completely because jivo jivasya jivanam. While living also I am eating, some destruction is happening. But I can avoid, I can make wise choices to cause minimum destruction. And of course, no abuse and violence in the relationships, etc., at the physical level. But more importantly, it's not only at that level, it is at mind level. No violence at the mental level. Hurting, harming, plotting, scheming, manipulating mentally. No. So ahimsa at the mind level and brahmacharya at the body level. Gurudev used to define brahmacharya as moderation in all sense contacts with the world. In dharmic sense contacts, that is implied. What is not good for me, what is prohibited, what is nishiddha, what is going to pull me down, that anyway is removed when we say bhadram karne bhi. All abhadram is removed. But what is bhadram also? Engage in moderation. In exercise, food, sleep, speech, everywhere, moderation. Then brahmacharya, meaning the physical vitality is conserved, energy is saved. Create, conserve, consecrate. This is the formula for a seeker. Every day we have fresh creative energy. Bhagwan blesses us. And we can create more through pranayam, etc. More energy can be created. By righteous living, more energy is conserved. By positive thinking, energy is conserved. Negative thinking will destroy. So create, conserve. By brahmacharya, one conserves the energy, where one doesn't use for unnecessary indulgence and all that and drain oneself out. And then consecrate it in the right direction. Lift it for the higher. Use it for sadhana, seva, satsang, swadhyay, all that. So that is swastinastarksha, that may my pranas be, and the person tejas you will see. One who is living in brahmacharya, there is a glow, there is a presence, there is a different energy around that person. Nowadays people do that aura and all that, they understand that at one level. So swastinastarksho, so may my pranas be preserved, conserved, and also prana, if you control, mind will become quiet. Vayurodhanat liyate manaha. By control of the breath, mind will be controlled. If it is difficult to control the mind directly, control it indirectly by controlling the breath and controlling the senses. So if you control sense inputs, mind can get controlled. If you control the breath, mind can get controlled. So Vayurodhanat liyate manaha. So may a seeker use this. May the pranas also be fine, especially when one is listening. If one has done some pranayam, one is sitting quietly. Deep breathing, simple deep breathing, one doesn't even need to do in some ratio and all that. Simple deep breathing in invocation, when one is chanting. Before that, sit 5 minutes before the class starts. Do some deep breathing, make the mind quieter. Then the receptivity is better. So swastinas tarkshaha. And tarksha also is called here as what? Arishta nemihi. So what is Arishta nemihi here? One who saves us from any harm. So as Tarksha, as the Vayu Devata, control our pranas, control our sense of touch, and may we not fall, may we live in brahmacharya. Now, as a second meaning is Tarksha is Garuda. So Garuda is symbolic of what? Garuda is symbolic of, again, removal of, so the snakes etc. will go away. Garuda mantra, if you sing If you chant, then the snakes go away and all that. Arishta is that. So any negative thought processes. Garuji is the king of birds. Very mighty, huge. He's not just any ordinary eagle. Even that eagle is very powerful. Garuji is much more powerful. And Garuji is the Vahana of Bhagwan Vishnu. So Garuji also a symbol of satsang, of satsang with Vedantic understanding. Because Vishnu means all pervading reality. That's the Vedantic meaning. Whichever way one takes it, whether Ishvara or Brahman, whichever way one takes it, satsang is very, very important. May the satsang come into our life continuously, and may our pranas be such that we are able to receive satsang. That's the meaning of this line. So, swasti nastarksho arishta nemihi, and swastino brahaspatir dadhatu. Who is Brahaspati? Brahaspati is the guru of all the devatas. So the guru tattva we invoke. It's very interesting. Please remember, this is when we say Brahaspati. Brahaspati is the guru of all the devatas. So in this context, the symbolism we should take is Brahaspati is the guru tattva whom we are propitiating, so that the knowledge that we are going to get, we are able to absorb, assimilate and realize. Brahaspati is also the author of the Charvak philosophy. So don't bring that here, saying ki Charvak philosophy Swamiji, Rinam Kritva Ghritam Pibet, Bhasmi Bhutasya Dehasya Punaragamanam Kutaha. This body is going to live only once. That YOLO philosophy is Charvak philosophy. And who is the author of that philosophy? Brahaspati. It was created to delude the Asuras. If you see Bhagavatam, Hiranyakashipu knows Atma exists. Hiranyakashipu is giving consolation to his mother Diti and the sons of Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha. When Hiranyaksha is killed by Varaha Bhagwan, Hiranyakashipu is going and giving consolation to his mother Diti, the wife of Hiranyaksha also, and the sons of Hiranyaksha and all the family members. He is telling them, look, Atma is immortal, body only dies, he lived a valorous life and we should not grieve after him. So it's not that Asuras don't know, but some of them come under the influence of this philosophy of Charvaka. Sweet speech. Charvaka literally means sweet speech. It doesn't mean Charvak. People think it's Charvak, four words or four sentences. No, it is Charuvak, Charvak. It's written as Charvak and all that then, but sweet speech. What is sweet? What I see alone is real. There is no before life or after life. Why morality? What is the use of living in ethics? Who has seen a karma? Who has seen last life? Just eat, drink, be merry. That is the goal of life. Bas. Anyway, no need of living higher values. That is not the intent here. Brahaspati is Guru Tattva. And all this knowledge what we gain has come to us from the Guru Parampara. Unbroken Guru Shishya Parampara it has come. So we invoke the Guru Tattva, that may the Guru Tattva be gracious to us. Guru Tattva is none other than Bhagwan as well as that Supreme Brahman only. So we are also invoking the grace of the Guru in this context. So senses, pranas, mind, intellect, Guru Tattva. May all this be auspicious to us. This much we are invoking when we chant the Shanti mantra. And if we do with this bhav, see, the reason why I am giving so much of explanation is that when we chant, this bhav has to be there, that may my senses be in control, may my mind be peaceful, may my pranas be conserved, may the Guru Tattva. It is like telling ourselves, giving instruction, is auto suggestion, I said before. It is telling our own self, be like this, this is the way to live. Live in detachment, live in auspiciousness. Such a lovely mantra this is, whole Shanti mantra. And it ends with Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. 3 times Shanti for disturbances coming from cosmic forces, rain, thunder, drought, so many of these, cyclone, any of these, or extreme heat. That is Adi Daivik. Adi Bhautik, disturbances coming to us from the beings around us. Some people, some construction noise, something goes on happening around us. And Adhyatmik, subjective disturbances. Things may be peaceful outside, but the mind gets very disturbed. Somebody told me something did not happen on time, very disturbed. And small things irritate us more than big things. And so, Bhagwan, we are praying to, Bhagwan, please let there be peace from all these 3 sources of disturbance. How nicely now they have classified. All disturbances come to us, so many disturbances come to us, but they have classified them into 3 levels. They will come only from these 3. So now this is the Shanti mantra, and when one has chanted the Shanti mantra, every class, student and teachers chant it together. It is both of them invoking all these factors together for themselves, for the whole group also. And one can even pray for the whole universe in that sense. So, after the Shanti mantra, now if you see Gurudev's commentary, your homework last time was to read Gurudev's commentary. The peace invocation as well as the introduction part. I hope you have done that. I am not going to go paragraph by paragraph, but one line that Gurudev said here is very nice. If each one in a society or a community is to ardently and sincerely pray as to meet with only auspiciousness and act for the same, in such a country, at such an era of culture, jails will be redundant, slum areas will be unknown, poverty unimaginable, disease a mere exception. So, these mantras have great power and they inculcate certain attitudes. Imagine every day we chant this one Shanti mantra, not only Saturday to Saturday when the class is there, and tell our mind, live in auspiciousness, live in self-control, live putting in your efforts to realize the truth. How beautiful that is. Then in introduction, there are a few points that we will take up. Again, the whole introduction is very, very beautiful. In this, on page 18, Roman number 18, Gurudev says so nicely that creative art is at its best only when the limited ego makes an exit in all its entirety. This is giving in context that how people forget themselves, then the best things come out. A painter, a musician, all creative artists, but there is still a little bit of ego in that, where one wants people to appreciate their art and music and all that. But the Upanishad seeker has gone beyond the realm of the BMI, and so they have not left their name. They don't claim that this is what was revealed to us. Then he goes on to say that to the West, the philosophy is one of the avenues for self-gratification and self-satisfaction. In the East, to the rishis and their true children, the Hindu philosophy is for self-adoration, meaning to adore the Supreme Self and sublimate the ego. It is not to boost the ego. And self-satisfaction. Then he goes on to explain about the Guru Shishya Parampara, that how our scriptural textbooks preserved their purity and chastity till today and have come down to us in the hierarchy of teacher-disciple generation. This is on page 19, Roman number 19. We are not to allow ourselves to accept any declaration made from the platform of the intellect and the mind as a part and parcel of our eternal Veda. Meaning, Vedas are eternal revelations and minds which have transcended the state of finitude. To them this is revealed. And so we have been holding on to that knowledge, generation after generation. And he says, if we do so, meaning if we think that any human being can add and write into the Vedas, then that philosophy will continuously change, because the minds change, times change, everything changes around. So that's why he says, if we do so, we too would have a philosophy that is changing every 15 years as in the West. Meaning Vedas are not human creations, they are not written by human beings. They are compiled by Vedavyasji, no doubt. But these are revelations to the quiet minds who have transcended the realm of finitude. Goes on further to explain, in India, the eternal Vedas and the truths of the Upanishad are as true today as they were when they were taught in the flowery valleys of the sacred Ganga. Meaning the changeless truth we have been sharing. It is also that Smritis are written by great masters to adapt those changeless principles to the changing times, but the Veda remains eternally unmodified. Nobody adds, interpolates anything in that. Then now one thing we should know, that the Karika which is written, Gurudev says here, before we enter the text proper, we may as well inquire little into the very construction of the Upanishad, its contents and the gloss. So Karika is called as gloss. If you have read the preface, preface, correct. If you read the preface, in the preface, the word that has been used is glossary. See, in page 6, Gaudapada, the grand preceptor of Sri Shankaracharya, wrote a Karika glossary on this Upanishad. Please change that word. This gloss, it has to be, not glossary. Gloss and glossary have two different meanings. It is not a gloss, it is not a glossary. Karika is called as a gloss. So that's an error there. One should change it to gloss. And the Karika Kar, at the end of this introduction, in the second last paragraph, Gurudev says glossator. So Karika Kar is called glossator. Karika is called gloss. So now that was one correction I wanted to mention. Then Gurudev goes on to explain about the Vedas, how they are divided into mantra, Brahmana, Aranyaka. Mantra is the rites and rituals portion, karma, how to attain Swarga and all that. Then Brahmana is the upasanas to make the mind quieter, and the Aranyaka is the Upanishads. And 180 Upanishads are there, 125 are accepted. And again there is one mistake here on page 21, second paragraph. Thus, today, no body, so that word is split, you make it together, it is nobody. Nobody considers his study of Mandukya Upanishad complete without the Karika. What is a karika? That we will take it up in our next class, just so that we have clarity. Okay, what is a sutra, what is a mantra, what is a karika, what is a bhashya, what is a tika. One should know, otherwise one is interchanging anything and using anywhere. So that we will take up in our next class beginning. Before we enter into the Upanishad will take another 1 or 2 classes because there are 2 more mantras that Shankaracharya, shlokas, sorry, not mantras, 2 more shlokas that Shankaracharya has written before he starts his bhashya. That also we will take up in the next class. So Gurudev goes on to explain about the karika, and then the word mandukya, he calls it literally because it is manduka, frog. So he says that mandukya is a word in Sanskrit meaning frog. This is page 22. Mandukya is a word in Sanskrit meaning frog. So Mandukya Upanishad would become frogish scripture, if I may be permitted to use such a word. But then he gives the analogy, the deeper meaning of frog, that how the frog hibernates and is symbol of a seeker who goes within, who discovers the supreme and then comes out and shares this whole knowledge. And we also saw the second aspect, a frog leaps. So one has to leap as though. Waking state, dream state, deep sleep state. One has to leap as though to realize the substratum of all the 3. Then he goes on to explain further about how this Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, is, some people have given all kinds of scholarly opinions, where this page number 27, where this author Madhavacharya with his 2 followers Vyasa Tirtha and Srinivasa, both of them say that the Mandukya Upanishad mantra as well as the karikas. So he says both the prose passages of the Upanishad and the metrical verses contained in the first chapter were together handed down by Varuna in the form of a frog, Manduka. Gurudev says this is not acceptable. So he says mythological temperaments may feel satisfied with an explanation of this type, but probably this is not so convincing to the modern university educated students. Then he says this Professor Dusen claims to, and what does he say? That even the 12 prose mantras as belong to Gaudapada, which according to this professor, in his work, The Philosophy of the Upanishad, there is no Mandukya Upanishad as such, but the entire literature is only a Prakarana Grantha. Just imagine. These books of these professors, again I don't want to generalize, there are many people who have done great work, but some of them, they don't understand the Shastra, the tradition, the interlinkages. Imagine the highest text of the Vedic literature, Mandukya Upanishad, on which Gaudapadacharya ji thought it important to write the Karika, on which then Shankaracharya has written a Bhashya. This professor says it is only Prakarana Grantha. And in order to prove his theory, what is he saying? His logic is, he quotes Shankara and says that in the eyes of Shankara, this is no Upanishad at all, but is only a book of categories, because in none of his genuine books has Shankara quoted Mandukya Upanishad. Just because he has not quoted Mandukya doesn't mean that it becomes a Prakarana Grantha. And nowhere has Shankaracharya ji written that this is a Prakarana Grantha. This is the assumption of this professor. So one of them, Madhavacharya with his 2 disciples, thinks that the Upanishad mantra as well as the Karika are given by Varuna, not written by Gaudapada. And the other extreme is this Professor Deussen, who says that both these, they are not even in the Upanishad. The mantra is not belonging to the Upanishad, this is only Prakarana Grantha. And they are written by Gaudapada. And Gurudev says, if Shankara did not quote, does not mean that that is not a valid Upanishad. It did not fit in the theme of what he was writing, so he did not quote. That's how Gurudev also clarifies this here, that it is possible that Shankara did not quote the big chunks of prose as such, probably because it did not afford him the facility of serving his literary purpose. They did not directly serve Shankara in expressing his ideas, nor did they fall to the rhythm of Shankara's chiseled prose melody. So, Gurudev has given that. So we continue, and why we consider this as a part of the mantras as a part of the Veda, because we already saw Muktikopanishad already mentions that Mandukyam ekam eva alam mumukshunam vimuktaye. That Mandukya alone is enough for a mumukshu to be liberated, and it is listed as Upanishad there. By whom? By Ramji himself. So to say that that is a Prakarana Grantha is only gross ignorance of the traditions of Sanatana Dharma. Upanishad mantra, Upanishad which is so powerful, that one is reduced to Prakarana Grantha. So one should be careful. Just because something is written in English by some Harvard professor or some university professor doesn't necessarily mean it has to be true. One has to verify. Many things are true also, but many are not. Then one more thing he says further is, one reason which he gives also is that of the 4 Mahavakyas, which we consider as great statements, the 4 Mahavakyas, every Upanishad has 1 Mahavakya minimum. So Mahavakyas are not only 4, but 4 are considered as main. So this Prajnanam Brahma, Ayam Atma Brahma, Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi. In that the Ayam Atma Brahma is from this Upanishad, second mantra. So how can this be a Prakarana Grantha just like that? So Gurudev gives these logics, and he says it is a important text for us. And so that is where the introduction then he gives about the Karikas and how the 4 chapters are there that we spoke last time, so I am not going into that detail. So basic introduction one should have read by now. If you have not read, please do read. And next week we will be entering into these 2 verses. I am just sharing it here for you to know. On the drive I have put up a book of Gita Press. In this Agama Prakarana, Mandukya Upanishad with Shankar Bhashya and Hindi translation, you read this. It is there in the Google Drive also, and you can please buy also the copy. If you buy that book, it will be helpful, because some of those things we will be referring from the book, Shankaracharyaji's commentary. So Shankaracharyaji, Bhashyakar here means Shankaracharyaji. So Shankaracharyaji has written 2 verses that reflect the theme of Mandukya Upanishad. And this is the Mangalacharan he has written. What we saw is the Shanti mantra of the Upanishad. These 2 verses are his compositions. So you can go through these. I will put up the English translation also on the WhatsApp group as well as on the Google Drive. Then you are better prepared. Go through this, and if you have not read the introduction, please read. So for today we will stop here. If there are any questions, you are welcome to ask. Is Charvak same as Gnostic philosophy emerged in 6th century? Now I don't know which is the philosophy, Gnostic philosophy of 6th century, but Charvakas are non-believers of the uh, in the absolute, because they believe only what they see. They don't even believe in existence of space. They don't believe in existence of mind also. Anything that is visible, they will believe only that much.
Hari Om Swamiji. Bharti Marfatia here.
1 minute. Yes, I was not able to hear you earlier.
Can you hear me, Swamiji, now?
Yeah.
Hari Om Swamiji. Pranam. Yesterday was Ramnavami, and we had a very great puja and everything with your blessings and like Gurudev's blessings, and you were there for the first day. Swamiji, I just have a request. Just now you said about four Vakyas. If next time or whenever it is possible, which Mahavakya is from which Upanishad, and then like if you can just explain little on that, I'll appreciate that. Sorry, Swamiji, my throat is very bad, so can't speak
Right.
loudly.
Okay.
Hari Om. Thank you, Swamiji.
What is the right way to internalize the mantra? Especially in Nididhyasan part. Nididhyasan is contemplation. Contemplation has two steps. Reject what I am not, assert who I am. That is one method of contemplation. And initially that's what we need, because that body identification, jiva bhav is very strong. So reject who I am not. So when we say asangoham, punah punaha, all that is to detach from who I am not. Or Nirvana Shatkam, 3 lines of negation, 1 line of assertion. Nirvana Shatkam is a better example actually, because Brahma Jnanavali Asangoham has many pointers. Dasha Shloki of Shankaracharya ji or Nididhyasan ke liye Nirvana Shatkam, these are, one has to lift the mind to that state indicated by the self and reject, drop false identification. I am not this, I am not this, I am not this. That's the way. And where, if you are using some mantras of the Upanishad where only pointers of the self are there, then lift the mind to those states like unborn, unchanging, undecaying, immortal. All these pointers, they will indicate the supreme state. So lift the mind to that state and reject everything that is born, everything that is manifest, everything that is changing. So Nididhyasan essentially will have these 2 steps. To delude the asuras, the Charvak philosophy was written so that they can just eat, drink, be merry and forget the existence of the Atman. That was the purpose. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.